Hi, my name's Chase. I'm an addict.
Hello, Chase.
What it was like, what happened, and what it is like now. Grew up in Calgary. I had quite a normal life as a kid. Both my parents worked. Neither of them drank or did drugs. I had all the toys that I could want. I had a dirt bike. We had a motorhome. We went on holidays, and I played hockey and I played baseball, and I did all the stuff that normal kids do. I think it was about 6 years old that I started acting out, mostly in school. I was getting detention all the time. I get suspended and getting in trouble for stupid stuff, not thinking, just saying and doing things in class that would get me in trouble. I got labeled the class clown. Then later on, they figured that they should do a psychiatric assessment on me, so they sent me to the Children's Hospital in Calgary for a month. And the result of that was they gave me a prescription for Ritalin, because they said that I was hyperactive. So, as a kid growing up in Calgary, and there's a lot of months out of the year that you can't go out and do things, and I was stuck in my house, and I had 2 older brothers and an older sister, and they were all well on their way into being addicts and alcoholics, and they were pretty well gone, though they kept it away from me and the family mostly. My brother got in some trouble and he had to move back into the house, and then he found out I was taking Ritalin, so he told me that I was doing it wrong. So he told me, he says, you need to save them all up and take them all at once. So I saved up like 5 pills, and every Saturday I'd go on a bender. So I was pretty well 7 years old, and I was nodding off and loaded and not there anymore. That lasted till I was about 12. I came home from school one day, and my mom was sitting on the couch with the social worker, and she says, we can't handle you anymore, you're out of control, you need to go to a group home. And most kids would be upset about this, but I was quite happy. I thought, cool, there's no more rules, no curfew, I can do what I want, whenever I want. And they took me to a group home that day. I got to the group home, and there was a bunch of other dysfunctional, messed up kids just like me. So we all kind of just joined in on what everybody else was doing, and I started smoking weed and started drinking and doing all that stuff that came along with it. And then I started running away because I didn't like the rules. I didn't like people telling me what to do. I thought that I knew best what was for me. So a 12-year-old kid, I was on the streets in Calgary sleeping outside in the wintertime, but I didn't care. I liked it. The streets was it was free. I enjoyed it. Something was always happening. For me, with a hyperactive problem that I still have, it's hard for me to just sit idle and do nothing. So the streets offered that 24-hour something going on. The police started to get to know me because they picked me up pretty well every day for being AWOL. They knew where I slept, they knew what group home I was AWOL from, and they'd take me back. I went through every group home in Calgary, did the whole circuit. Got kicked out of all of them because I was constantly running away. I'd run away at night, I'd come back for breakfast, hang out for an hour, take off till dinner, come back for dinner, and then leave again until the next morning. I just didn't want to sleep there. I don't know what it was. So yeah, the cops got to know me, and then they figured that the best thing to do would be to lock me up in a place called secure treatment. And apparently it wasn't that secure, because I got away from there too. I was a little kid, so I squeezed out the window. And I thought it was cool. I thought, sweet, I escaped from jail. And that was just my attitude. I lived on the streets till I was about 16. When I was 16, for the first time in many, many years, me and my 2 brothers were living together. We had a little basement suite in Calgary. And circumstances happened where my oldest brother, David, ended up committing suicide. He jumped off a building. And me and my other brother, we couldn't believe it. And that was a turning point for me. The level of anger in me just flipped on, and I was just completely out of control at that point. At that point, I was always in a in a blackout stage of drinking way too much. You know, I couldn't have just one. We'd buy a case of beer, we'd buy a bag of Valium and a big bag of pot, and we'd do it all until it was gone. And I found out later that my brother committed suicide for a very horrible reason. He sent me a letter before he did it stating that he was sexually abused by this guy in Calgary. So me, as a messed up kid, got this great idea that I was going to go to Calgary and kill him. So I did that, and I ended up getting arrested, and I did 3 years in Calgary in the Offender Center for first degree murder. Again, I thought that was cool. I thought, sweet, you know, I'm a tough guy. Jail, I think, actually saved me, because I spent 3 years that I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs, you know. I got some more schooling behind me. I learned how to play guitar. I spent like 3 years in the wood shop, so I actually got some skills. I got out of jail, and while I was in jail, it was kind of funny, because there was 3 guys that came in on the Alcoholics Anonymous panel, and they shared their story, and they were talking about running moonshine across Lake Superior for Al Capone, and I think there was probably 400 years of sobriety between the 3 guys. And as a 16-year-old kid, I'm sitting there shaking my head going, what the hell is this, right? Like, how does this relate to my life? I didn't listen. They had the 12 steps, they had the 12 traditions on the wall, and they were sharing their stories, and I didn't get it. I didn't think anything was a problem. I did quit drinking. And the day I got out of jail, I came to Vancouver, and I lived in Poco for a while, but I eventually made my way downtown, and once I seen Hastings, I was hooked. I thought, oh my God, this is like 24/7 non-stop. This is what I want. So I stayed down there for about 12 years, and I did every drug known to man. I put it in my body every way you could, and I couldn't get out. I dug a very deep hole and I couldn't get out. Went into the needle exchange one day on Main Street there across from the police station, and the lady there knew me, and she says, have you ever thought about going to recovery? And I thought, well, what's recovery? And she says, well, it's a place you can go get clean, and you know, they'll give you a bed, they'll help you get on welfare, they'll feed you. And I'm like, sweet. I've been homeless for over, you know, probably 2 decades. I said, so sure, I'd love a home if you're just going to give me one. So I went there, and stupid me, I made the assumption that get clean was, you know, take a shower. I didn't know I'd actually have to stop doing dope. And when I got there, I was quite pissed off. I was like, no, why would I want to stop doing dope? I said, that's all I know. That would be like me going, you know, going to a house and they say you can no longer eat. And I wouldn't be able to. I'd be like, no, I have to eat. I have to eat in order to stay alive. And it was the same thing for dope for me. I felt that I had to do it. Every morning when I woke up, or evening whenever I woke up, I had that instant thought to do dope. And if I didn't do it right away, that voice would get louder and louder, and pretty soon it would be screaming through a megaphone, let's get high. And I just eventually had to give in. And you know, I've tried to fight it before. I've tried to not listen to that voice in my head, and it never works out. I always give in. Once I give in, I'm screwed, because my body takes over and I'm on a mission. I do anything to get more. And you know, I've done a lot of horrible stuff in my life to get dope, and I never thought anything of it. I thought, whatever.